Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Genshin Impact Genius Invocation TCG patch notes. Today we're going to be going over just the balance updates, or card adjustments as I call them, as 4.3 is a humongous patch. It is the 1-year anniversary for Genius Invokation TCG as well as GITCG, but I decided let's just cover this in one video because of how much stuff that we have to cover otherwise. So all the cards you see on screen have been have had some changes made to them. So let's get started right away with Wind and Freedom. The elemental dice cost has been reduced from 1 to 0. So ever since Wind and Freedom has been through a few mutations, I would say. It got its effect changed and pushed over to the arcane card, and now it was changed to this. And 0 dice helps it a ton because this is effectively a changing shifts plus and well, not really a fast swap, but the fact that it costed 1 dice, for was something is essentially a changing shifts, definitely made it very difficult to play. I'm personally a big fan of this card in my own decks, but yeah, it was hard to play. So now that's 0, that is super duper good. Moving on to Venti's good old friend, Mr. Osmanthus Wine. Stone and Contracts has received some changes. The new effect has been added. When the action phase of the next round begins, draw 1 card. So if you don't remember, just in general, Stone and Contracts, you play it before the end of your round, and you will be able to ramp up with dice next turn. And now it also draws you a card, so not only are you going to be getting dice but cards. So low key, people always called Stone and Contracts kind of like the big Paimon for Liyue characters, but now you get a draw as well, so it's almost it's pretty much a Liben if anything, and stronger too. So hopefully with the new Liyue characters that we are getting this patch, people will actually be able to make use of this. I think really the only reason that people don't really make use of Stone and Contracts is just because there's not enough characters for the region to really make perfect use of it. But moving on to the next change, we have Joyous Celebration arcane card. The elemental dice cost has been reduced from 1 to 0. Yep, yeah, can you believe it? Joyous Celebration ever since launch has had a dice cost attached to it with a basic dice. So you had to play your arcane dice and your 1 dice cost and 1 dice. It was why it was really way too much. So yeah, this is the change that it has now, and thank goodness, really. Unfortunately, I really don't think it'll see so much play because it's very difficult to actually get this to apply. We did check out Dehya on stream, so maybe he's got some stuff, but yeah. That is Joyous Celebration changes. Moving on to the next, we have Timaeus and Wagner changes. I mean, these are the 2 Mondstadt bros that help you make your stuff, so they gotta come in a pair. So and we've combined the description here. New effect added: if you have 6 artifact cards and 3 different weapon cards, or specifically different weapon types in your deck, when played, draw 1 artifact/weapon card. So this is kind of adding what I like to call the search function that Dunyarzad introduced to an extent, where if you play another companion card, you were able to draw said item out of your deck because you really needed it. Now for Timaeus and Wagner, so this one is very concerned about deck building. First off, so like it says here, you need to have 6 artifact cards or 3 different weapon types, as the description says. I don't know if that means I can have 2 WGS like Wolf Gravestone, and then I can have Skyward Pride, and that counts. Hopefully it isn't restricted to weapon types, like I need a bow, claymore, and a sword. That would be pretty tough, but yeah, regardless, you need to have these cards in your deck before you actually do it, and then once you play them, you will immediately draw the card. So that is definitely a pretty big deal, being able to search out the items that you need for your stuff. And hopefully these guys actually get to see play, if at all, because they're kind of their counterparts, Yayoi and Master Zhang. Not really Master Zhang, but mostly Yayoi is the one who gets the most play for artifacts, and of course Wagner and Master Zhang just kind of sit away, smithing away. But yeah, that's pretty much it for these 2. I am very excited to see this change, and see if it affects the deck building. I do hope maybe we can get more increased weapon and artifact engines, considering what can already happen with just Yayoi and Dunyarzad alone. Moving on to the next change, the last action card change, Ocean-Hued Clam, has received an adjustment. When played, healed the attached character for 3 HP, that is the original, and now it has been adjusted to 2 HP, and thank goodness. The Ocean-Hued Clam was definitely the last card I expected to be extremely meta, And the fact that you could play it, you know, especially if you ran Artifact Engine, or even not really, realistically, it's only 3, you know, unaligned dice. You not only got to heal for 3 HP, and you get the damage bonus, and you can stack it with things like Hydra Resonance, your own food, etc. It was a pretty crazy card, getting that upfront heal damage bonus immediately. And so now it's been adjusted to 2 HP, which, you know, I think that's a lot more fair. I don't think you should be able to heal 3 HP and also equip a, you know, relatively strong artifact, you know, when properly built. So, you know, that's there, and it keeps it more in line, you know, and so people don't just heal the full HP, because you see that a lot with this card. But anyways, moving on to, I believe, the character changes, and these are going to be pretty interesting. I think so, yeah, I was right. Okay, we have the Dehya and Agent changes, and I just combined these into one because they're very tiny. For number 1, we added the EREMITES tag to the game. So this is one of the you know, sort of the factions. You know how there's Mondstadt, Liyue, Inazuma, Sumeru, and then, like, you know, the Fatui, the Haley Churls, etc. This is the newest tag that we have available, which is super duper cool, honestly. And also is a shame that they haven't tried for dual tags, because you know, the combination between Dehya and Candace, so you could run Sumeru res for fun, that is no longer there, so rest in peace. But who knows, maybe she keeps her Sumeru tag. We'll have to see what it looks like in game. But regardless, this does confirm indeed that Eremites are going to be a faction in the game that we will see more stuff of. And of course, that makes a lot of sense with, you know, Babel or the Scorching Lore Master being part of the new character lineup coming in 4.3. You know, makes a lot of sense to have this new faction. And we saw 2 Eremite enemies inside the trailer as well, so that will also be pretty helpful. Moving on to Agent, and this is where we're getting to the numbers and what is maximally important, am I right? But Agent has lost a maximum HP. They went from 10 HP to 9 HP, and I'm gonna be real with you, it kind of feels like a slap on the wrist. Should have been 8, but yeah, I digress about the jokes. But Agent has always kind of been jokingly called the 10 HP or 12 HP character because of stealth. You know, you always start your round with 2 points of stealth, and you know that gives you damage reduction, or, you know, damage reduction, which is what I call it, and, you know, and or damage boost, you know, depending on how you use it. But regardless, it is definitely, you know, makes Agent way more tanky than expected. So, you know, reducing this, I think at the end of the day, it's going to effectively be, you know, just like kind of a mess with your breakpoint, you know, so like if you have full stealth up, but you have 9 HP and a character is kind of built around doing a 10 damage one shot, you won't be able to avoid it in this instance. But yeah, it's some light adjustments, but it's super interesting regardless. And moving on, I believe, to the last character we have, and I'm sure just as Agent, their partner in crime, may be in a little danger. That's right, it is Rodeo the Loach, or Oceanid, has received some significant changes to their kit. So, number 1, only 2 Hydro Mimics can exist on the field now. So that means if you double summon and then you try to double summon again, you will not be able to summon more than just 2. You know, so you either do 3 cost, or you do 5 cost, and that's it. It's called. Yeah, so that is kind of a big deal for Oceanid. That means that there is more RNG in terms of your summons, because if you try to press the summon button when you have your summons already on field, it will not replace them. It'll just increase their current duration. So, you know, you're trying to roll for George, you're trying to roll for the raptor, aka the bird, or if you're trying to roll for the squirrel, good luck, because you now have a slightly increased RNG factor in this case. And also, additionally, the Hydro Mimics frogs, the number of usages has been decreased from 2 to 1. No, George is unfortunately going to be taking the hit here. You know, is not going to be able to protect you from as much damage, and also will pop faster. You know, so that is, you know, of course, like George themselves was a very strong summon, so, you know, having that damage reduction being reduced makes sense. But also, since there can only be 2 summons on field, George will pop faster as well. So maybe if you need to re-roll your RNG, that's also an aspect. Yeah, these are pretty significant changes for Rodea. I mean, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Rodea, you know, Oceanid has been a card that has been very relevant in the meta for a long time. You know, first it went to NEC and then, well, I should go all the way back. First it went to MMEC, and then NEC, and then Agent EC. It's just this card, man. It just can never stop. And hopefully, I mean, hopefully, you know, I don't think it's completely over for Oceanid, because, you know, no decreases their HP, just only 2 Hydro Mimics, and 2 Hydro Mimics is still a lot to deal with. You can do a lot with that, especially with other teammates supplying, you know, possibly more not necessarily interesting, but more dynamic summons that do a lot more than just drop damage on your opponents. But yeah, that is pretty much it for all the changes. Yeah, if I like take a arrow, yep, that is going to be it for this. And yeah, it was a really short change. I hit my mic, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you all so much for watching. And you know, we have our majors this weekend right now, so if you'd like to come and watch that, what's it called, our casters are putting in the work to do that. But otherwise, I will see you in 4.3, as I am intentionally not publishing any content until that time, because, you know, I'd rather wait until the update's actually out to really, you know, set my foot in. But for now, we can take a look at the balance changes, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.